The court grants an injunction against a project to use concrete in improving Jack's Walk. Prison authorities determined to stop people smuggling of items to inmates, and the private sector told an international airport could transform business in Dominica. I am Idona John Baptist with the Channel 5 News. Details after this. First up, the High Court has granted an injunction against the concreting of the Jack's Walk Trail. Consequently, the Ministry of Tourism and Urban Renewal project will stop immediately until further or other order of the court. Attorney Don Yearwood Stewart filed the application for a court injunction this week on behalf of 28 applicants. 4 attorneys are among these applicants. They are Bernadette Lambert, Kalita Benjamin, Geoffrey Later, and Wayne Nordy.
The concern of various persons are the laying of concrete steps on the natural trail leading up to the cross at Monbrose. That is our main concern. In addition to laying of the concrete steps, we think that it has a lot of safety issues. Some people might compare that and contrast that with the project they have done at the Emerald Pool, in the path to the Emerald Pool. But the Emerald Pool is the site, but the Jack's Walk, it's the actual site, and to interfere with that, I think, it's hurting myself and the group of people that are very much concerned. According to the court documents, the 28 applicants are taking up the matter against Robert Tong as Tourism Minister and the Attorney General. High Court Judge Justice Bernie Stevenson granted the injunction on Wednesday and has ordered that the Ministry of Tourism and Urban Renewal, the Forestry Division, and the respondents be served with the order. A hearing will take place on Wednesday, June 21, 2017. In other top stories, prison authorities have had to deal with regular smuggling over the state prison fence, and action is ongoing to stop the activity. Principal officer responsible for maintenance at the state prison, Marcus Scotland, told Channel 5 News illegal drugs and alcohol are among the items civilians attempt to sneak into prisoners.
In recent past, we have been having a lot of trafficking going on from members of the public where they have been sending stuff over the fence, and that has been a burden to us. On a daily, we intercept cell phones, marijuana, coke at times, things like that. Alcohol, they come over, propelled over by our defenses. So that's what we have to be dealing with on a regular basis.
Prison officers have caught the perpetrators in the act, or they find the contraband items on the property.
Broad daylight, nighttime, all times. Even in the day when the guys are doing their daily recreation, people stay even on the new football field, and just send stuff over. It's a violation by law under our sections. It's a violation of law, and anybody caught or found can be prosecuted by law.
Officer Scotland noted that a project to improve fencing of the prison compound is in progress, while plans are underway to source surveillance equipment to install in a newly constructed administrative block. Scotland says this will mean that prison officials will be in a better position to observe suspicious activities.
You have the administrative block, the superintendent will be up there. You have the assistant superintendent and the secretary. Those areas will be accommodated in the new block. We're going to be incorporating this building with the camera system, the security system. That should be on stream hopefully this year, since we get the favors from the finances of the government. So for the purchases of the cameras to increase our surveillance of the prisons. With the use of cameras or the increase of cameras, we should have that minimized. If we have other eyes where we can't see, then it will help us, it will boost our security right around the prisons.
The Universal Elegance Muslim store has suffered another loss following a burglary at the Bayfront store on Wednesday night. A significant sum of jewelry was stolen there. No official police report has been issued, However, reports are that the perpetrators entered Digicel's corporate office on Bayfront, damaging the company's property in order to access the Muslim store. Meantime, a businessman is in support of installing security cameras extensively around the city. Managing Director of ACS and Company Limited, Julius Timothy, explained how this could happen with the aid of the National Telecommunications Regulatory Commission.
I think we should have cameras all over Roseau.
You're talking about CCTV cameras?
Yes, like the same way we have the 911 numbers, so that there will be people manning them, so that if anytime there are crimes, there, sort of things, even fires, they can immediately be spotted and the necessary authorities can be alerted.
Timothy, who is Dominica's director on ECTEL's board, has spoken to the NTRC about the matter. He noted that that is his personal vision.
They would then have to prepare a project for it. And ECTEL would help with the funding, and government itself would also, because that would be an expensive undertaking. And, but it's possible, and it would make us feel a lot safer. The business community especially would feel a lot safer. If you realize in cities like London and New York and so on, when they have their terrorist things, it is through the cameras, not just on site, but they would trace the people right back.
In more news, the private sector here has been encouraged to take a leadership role in collaborating with government to resolve economic and other challenges. CEO of the Private Sector Organization of Jamaica makes reference to the significant role that his country's private sector played in helping reduce the debt to GDP ratio.
The private sector has been at the forefront of that task, along with the government and other civil society groups. This, I know, has been a critical part of our success that we've seen to date, because in 2012 we faced a serious fiscal and economic crisis, as I said, with debt to GDP of 150%, high inflation and high interest rates, and a private sector that was in retreat. And if you want to know what 150% debt to GDP looks like, when you look outside, you can see it. You physically see it. You see the poverty, right? We don't want to get there. On the contrary, we're growing, and we see the signs of growth, because when you look outside, you see cranes in the sky now. And that is growth, when you see a lot of cranes going up and buildings going up.
Chong told a Dominica Business Forum organized luncheon Wednesday, a strong private sector and very strong media were key in Jamaica's economic success.
One of the things in this region that we have, which we have to cherish, is freedom of the press. We don't know that we have it until we lose it. It's very, very critical, because it keeps everyone in check. And to understand this dynamic, I would recommend a book to your reading called Why Nations Fail by Acemoglu and Robinson. And the book underlines that nations fail or succeed based on the strength of their institutions. And a critical institution in that process is the private sector. In other words, a weak private sector will result in policies that cause market distortions and ultimately market failure and poverty. And a strong private sector will result in policies that cause efficient markets and prosperity.
Chong believes while a strong private sector is needed, a strong government and trade union movement can also serve as very good counterbalance to a strong private sector.
There were, of course, times when the Jamaican private sector was in many respects handpicked by government policy, and it wasn't until we started to see stronger complementary institutions that addressed issues such as corruption, that we started to see less interference and more market-determined successes. So the PSOJ was formed as a challenge to the then government policies and to resist the market failures that was decimating the private sector. And one could therefore say that the private sector played a critical role in changing that dynamic.
You are watching Channel 5 News. Coming up, a call to investigate the financial abuse of the elderly. That and more when we return. Thanks for staying with us. There have been renewed calls for serious investigations into incidents of elder abuse. The challenge to the relevant authorities came from the Dominica Council on Aging as the country joined the rest of the world in observing World Elder Abuse Awareness Day on Thursday. While there are no statistics on elder abuse cases in Dominica, the Council believes steps need to be taken to curb such occurrences.
It remains one of the last or the least investigative types of violence in national surveys and one of the least in national action plan. Recent research findings draw specific attention to financial exploitation and material abuse of older persons as a common and very serious abuse. Based on available evidence, 5 to 10% of older people globally may experience some kind of financial exploitation.
The focus on this year's Elder Abuse Awareness Day is financial abuse among the elderly.
Financial exploitation takes many forms. The abuse often encompasses theft, forgery, misuse of property, and power of attorney, as well as denying access to funds. The overwhelming majority of financial exploitation in less developed countries includes accusation of witchcraft that are used to justify property grabbing.
Meantime, President of the Dominica Cancer Society and executive member of the Council on Aging, Yvonne Alexander, called on the public for continued advocacy to ensure a better environment for senior citizens.
Although there are laws that can address most of these crimes, the laws are not necessarily always specific to the elderly. Hence the need for us to continue to advocate for much more laws that are going to be specific. It is because of advocacy that there was an amendment, for instance, to the Sexual Offences Act. We have all heard about the unfortunate incidents of rape of our very senior citizens, and we have also had some murdered. I am sure we don't want to remember that, but this is the worst stage to which abuse of the elderly can go.
Among activities to recognize the day was the carrying of a torch from Farks in Mont-Daniel to the EC Low Black Bridge, where it was handed over to one of the partners of the Council on Aging. The subject of an international airport for Dominica and the difference that such a facility could make in terms of boosting Dominica's tourism has again come up for discussion. CEO of the private sector organization of Jamaica, Dennis Chung, spoke at a luncheon on Wednesday organized by the Dominica Business Forum in an effort to improve the local business climate.
This beautiful island, Dominica, is locked away, Minister, because you need a proper airport to get people here. It's very important. I mean, one of the significant advantages that Jamaica has is that because of our two airports, we have almost every single international flight coming directly to Jamaica. And that's why our tourism has grown so much. We don't have any advantage over you in terms of the beauty, but just the access. It's very, very important. And access not just for people, but also for moving goods.
With reference to concerns about the cost of building an international airport, Chung says it's well worth it to get the tourists here.
Can you imagine, I'm looking at your waterfront, and don't go the route that we did. We ignored our waterfront, and it's really a dump now. We're trying to resuscitate it, you know, maintain it, because can you imagine, I just have a vision of here, tourists 24 hours a day just walking through and shopping. That's significant money.
The Dominica Business Forum has been hosting a series of activities here this week featuring the Jamaican businessman. Registrar Ozzy Walsh says they have revolutionized the law library in terms of maximizing the limited floor space using mechanized shelves. Mr. Walsh says progress has been made as far as reorganizing the law library so that a lot more work can be done using a lot less space.
What used to be a major floor space for use for law library, we are using a little section of the floor space because we have been able to mechanize the storing of books in the law library. That is a over $100,000 project which the government invested into the law library so that the library books can be stored in a more compact way, mechanized shelves. So you have this shelving, and you can actually pinpoint where you're going and move it, and you go to the specific area for books with respect to commercial law, family law, and those things. Before, they used to be on wooden shelves occupying a lot of floor space.
Mr. Walsh says work has also gone into making the law library more comfortable and user-friendly.
And ultimately, what they want to do is have a pay-per-view system down in the law library that persons who want to come and do legal research, if they can go on one of the law sites, LexisNexis or one of them, access the information, pay as you go along, and improve the service we offer at the law library to the members of the public. So we are on our way to doing that.
And over 300 pupils from 5 primary schools around the island are among the most recent group of children to complete the 12-week Ask, Listen and Learn program. This program, spearheaded by the Ministry of Education, is sponsored by Regional Beverages Alcohol Alliance and seeks to drive home the message that children and alcohol don't mix.
The Regional Beverage Alcohol Alliance is steadfastly committed to addressing the challenges attendant to the harmful use of alcohol, particularly in respect of underage consumption of alcohol and drink driving, both of which have reached epidemic levels in the Caribbean. As such, Ask, Listen and Learn remains one of our major flagship initiatives in this region. To the students, I want to encourage you to take all that you have learned from the Ask, Listen and Learn program and to apply them daily. Apply them at home, apply them at school, apply them at play.
Minister for Education, Peter Saint-Jacques, committed his ministry's assistance to ensuring that this message is brought to schools all over Dominica as they work to ensure a healthy and fully functional youthful population.
We can all agree that such a program holds tremendous benefits, not only for our students, but also for our wider society, because indeed, these are the children who will be the adults tomorrow. And as a ministry, we are investing in holistic development of our children. And it is my hope that the Ask, Listen and Learn program will be continued and that all our Dominican students will be exposed to the knowledge that they need in order to make informed decisions.
The Ask, Listen, Learn Classroom Champions project got underway in Dominica in 2015. That's news. Your sports highlights next with Kenny Williams.
First up in sports, the series between West Indies and Afghanistan ended in a 1-all tie when the match decider was abandoned due to rain on Wednesday. There was just enough time with clear skies for the two captains to come out for the toss 2 hours after schedule. However, shortly after Pakistan won the toss, the rains came. Meantime, in a pre-match interview, West Indies coach Stuart Law admitted that West Indies were in a great struggle to climb up the rankings and gain automatic qualification for the 2019 World Cup. The top 8 sides will have to play the showpiece event in England on September 30. The international teams that don't make the cut must then participate in a grueling qualifying tournament in April 2018 when 10 contenders, including the best of the associate nations, fight for 2 spots. Meantime, England's hopes of securing their first trophy and move into the finals of the Champions Trophy were smothered when Pakistan defeated the hosts by 8 wickets with nearly 13 overs to spare on Wednesday. Batting first, England posted 211 all-out in 49.5 overs. Joe Root added 46 and Johnny Bairstow 43. Hassan Ali picked up 3 for 35. Set 212 for victory, Pakistan made 215 for 2 in 37.1 overs. Azhar Ali contributed 76 and Fakhar Zaman 57 to help secure Pakistan's spot in the final of the Champions Trophy. Next up, top athletes here carried the Queen's Baton around Roseau on Thursday to commemorate the Commonwealth Games, which is carded for Gold Coast, Australia next year. They carried it from the State House through Botanic Gardens, then on to Windsor Park, where athletes from multiple sporting disciplines rallied together in a sporting spirit there. President of Dominica Olympic Committee, Billy Doctrove, says he was thrilled to have local athletes be part of the congenial Queen's Baton relay.
We have brought in quite a few young persons, athletes, students from schools, different persons, in different areas of our life who contribute to our well-being. But most of them are in sports. So we're just happy that we could be part of that and host the Queen Battle for 4 days. We had a courtesy call on His Excellency, Mr. Savre, today. And it was well received. And tomorrow the delegation will be having more as a social day where we'll be visiting different areas of Dominica.
Meantime, Vice President of Dominica Olympic Committee says he is happy to have the Gold Coast 2018's Queen Baton here. He was at the time speaking on behalf of President of the DOC, Billy Doctrove, at a cocktail reception at the State House on Wednesday.
We are delighted that the relay is visiting us here in Dominica as it signals the lead up to the Games has begun. Please join me in giving the Queen's Battle Relay delegation and all invited guests a warm and friendly welcome as we look to the Gold Coast 2018. The Queen's Battle has been an integral part of the Commonwealth Games program for more than 50 years, since the 1958 Games in Cardiff, Wales.
Moving on to football, action in the Dominica Football Association's Domlec Women's League picks up as 3 teams are in the perfect position to snatch the championship soon. League leaders Dive Dominica Harlem United are on 21 points with 1 game left. New Generation Sports Club has 19 points and 1 outstanding game. And the defending champions New India Goodwill Runners on 17 points with 2 games to be played. Only 2 of the title contenders will be in action this weekend.
New Generation Sports Club, who can reach a maximum of 22 points, will take on 5th place team West Coast Jaguars on Saturday, while on Sunday defending champions New India Goodwill Runners find themselves in a must-win situation when they take on Mao Soka Strikettes, who are in 4th position. Both matches will be played at the Stock Farm Complex from 4 p.m.
Meantime, the deadline for registration for the Under-17 Boys League is Friday, as the league is carded to begin in July. All clubs should make every effort to meet the deadline. On the basketball scene, Friday's games in the 2017 Flow DABA League will feature 2 action-packed matches carded for the Massac Hardcourt. At 7, we will see a Division 1 clash between Picheless Sports Club Falcons and Paybush Snipers. At 9, newcomers to the Premier Division, Police Sports Club, will be hoping to get their feet wet in that division when they come up against E.H. Charles Crossovers. Sports continues with this item where the Dominica Cricket Association has released a 13-man squad for the upcoming Winlot Under-19 tournament carded for St. Lucia later this month. The squad reads Taj Tavernier, Captain Lake Charles, Jassian Alexander, Terrell Tousse, Colonel Joseph, Derry Ogis, Lee Louisi, Leon Sejean, Ethan Doctrove, Corinne Dupini, Malachi Xavier, Daniel Dupini, and Lincoln Durand. The squad is coached by Sam Kernan. The 2017 Winlot Under-19 cricket tournament is expected to run from June 25 to July 3. Moving on to primary school sports, where Wesley defeated Castlebrew Secondary on home turf with final scores 18-8 in the primary schools netball league. For Wesley, we had Kimberly Titt scoring 11 from 17 attempts and Kiara Marcel 7 from 13. In a losing effort, Dawana Greenaway netted 7 out of 12 and Patrice Thomas 1 from 4. That's all the sporting highlights for now. I am Kenny Williams. Join us next time.
We now join our friends at the Met Office for the weather report.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to tonight's weather broadcast. I'll be your presenter for this evening, Farah Rock-Career. We go straight into some early infrared satellite imagery today. Weak, unstable conditions associated with this upper-level trough affected weather conditions across the Lesser Antilles. Earlier visible satellite imagery showed partly cloudy to cloudy skies across Dominica and also the central portion of the Eastern Caribbean. Earlier radar imagery showed, or indicated rather, just a few isolated showers with some to the east of Dominica. The weather tonight is expected to be partly cloudy to occasionally cloudy with some scattered showers, and similar conditions are expected tomorrow with maximum temperatures expected to peak up to 31 degrees Celsius. The sea conditions tomorrow will be slight to moderate and waves are expected to peak up to 5 feet. Let's move on now to the 3-day forecast. Well, tomorrow Friday, partly cloudy to occasionally cloudy skies with some scattered showers is expected. On Saturday, fair to partly cloudy skies with scattered showers, and on Sunday a tropical wave will be approaching the area. Therefore, mostly cloudy skies with some scattered showers are expected with breezy conditions as well, and hazy conditions will be evident for the entire 3-day period. Let's move on now to the Caribbean forecast. Well, most of the islands tomorrow can anticipate partly cloudy to occasional cloudy skies with scattered showers, and the extreme southern portion can expect some thunderstorm activity with cloudy conditions. On the international scene, well, blistering temperatures expected for the city of Beijing. Maximum temperatures are expected to peak up to 39 degrees Celsius. Thunderstorm activity expected across New York, Miami, and Caracas, and cloudy skies expected across the city of London. The sunrise tomorrow at 5:35 a.m. and will set at 6:37 p.m. Please remember, we are in the hurricane season. Keep abreast with your weather information. Visit our website at weather.gov.dm or call the weather hotline at 447-5555. Join us tomorrow evening for your next weather broadcast. Thank you.
To end the news, the headlines again. The court grants an injunction against a project to use concrete in improving Jack's Walk. Prison authorities determined to stop people smuggling of items to inmates, and the private sector told an international airport could transform business in Dominica. Feel free to contact us at news@marpin2k4.com. You can also access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the production team, I am Idona John Baptist. To all our viewers, thank you for watching. Join us tomorrow.